Cyber Uncut. Discover the changing face of business, government and national security as Australia navigates the cyber revolution.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are listening and tuned into the Cyber Uncut podcast. My name is David Hollingworth. I am the deputy editor. Why am I looking at you?
Oh, I'm here.
Anyway, I am the deputy editor of Cyber Daily. I'm joined by my colleague Daniel Croft.
There you go.
There we go. Let's get into some AI. But before we do that, how have you been?
I've been all right.
Because like me, I'm getting the sense you're a little bit ragged.
I am ragged. Obviously, we've had a lot going on here, as we'll discuss. But with new band projects and everything like that, I've been rehearsing every night, sometimes until early hours of the morning. And
I don't know how you manage it.
I used to do it a lot when I was in my early 20s.
And now you're in your late 20s.
Yeah.
Oh, you young child.
The feeling is, the difference in feeling is pretty drastic.
Yeah. Wait till you start to groan when you stand up. That's a great one.
Yeah. I had one of those. My partner laughed. I was changing a tire in my car.
Which is a non-trivial thing.
Yeah, and I was bent over like this.
Yeah.
And after being down there bent over in terrible, terrible posture for so long, I went, ugh. And my partner, she laughed. I was like, no, you're going to have to care for me.
Yep. Yeah.
But no,
Yep.
Still pretty limber, hopefully, for a while, hopefully.
Yeah, it is just, I've said it to a few people this week, the news cycle has been unforgiving.
Yeah, it's pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
So maybe we should get... Actually, how have you been? Also ragged.
Also ragged.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say for similar reasons. No, not because I'm in a new band and doing rehearsals. In fact, I don't have anything that takes my time outside of work in the way that you do with a band.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've got to paint miniatures and play a war game and be a nerd. Or cook. That's great stuff. It's just the week that it's been. So let's get into the week that it's been. Okay, so we're going to open up with some AI news as we always do. And yeah, these figures are alarming that OpenAI has just released about how many of its users talk to ChatGPT about suicide. Yeah. What are the figures?
Yeah, so roughly 1.2 million users every week discuss suicide with ChatGPT. That's 0.15% of the active users.
Yeah.
Which is at some astronomically high number at the moment, but so
we don't even need to know the figures. We know a lot of people use ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's pretty dramatic. So they have done this report pretty much as OpenAI is trying to pave the way for better responses through ChatGPT, so it can better manage this. And so they said about 0.15% of active users discuss suicide and related topics. While 0.05% of them of all messages contain explicit or implicit indicators of suicidal ideation or intent. And in a not necessarily connected thing, and a completely different issue in every other way, quite a few people have developed like an emotional attachment to the bot. A similar number, 0.15% of users. In addition, 0.03% of all messages suggest an emotional dependency or connection, which is again equally alarming in a not completely disconnected way.
No. I see what you're saying, and I absolutely agree. Something that's just occurred to me is this is a remarkable piece of transparency on the part of OpenAI.
It is.
This would be such an easy number to sleep on. Yeah. Especially given things we talked about before in relation to ChatGPT and being a driver.
I believe is why they're doing this.
Yeah.
With GPT-5, they've actually said it is a lot better at doing all of this than GPT-4o was.
Yeah.
But it's still, there's still room to improve, which is fantastic to hear. OpenAI also said that hundreds of thousands of its users demonstrate signs of mania or psychosis in their conversations, but they can't really track the number because they are very, very rare cases. So getting an exact figure or percentage figure is really, really difficult. But it wants to improve. It's already said that GPT-5 has reduced undesired answers to prompts by 42% compared to the previous model, GPT-4o. They've also built a global physician network of roughly 300 physicians and psychologists, and that's backing them on prompt responses, making them better, and things like that. It doesn't want to be a solution to people's problems that people can go, hey, I can go speak to ChatGPT about some really, really personal things, but it wants to be there because people are doing it anyway, it sounds like.
It is a...
Yeah.
Where to start? The fact that they're being transparent is a tick in their favor.
We don't have a lot good to say about OpenAI usually.
We very rarely do, but you've got to,
credit where credit's due.
Credit where credit's due, absolutely, about being transparent.
Yeah.
And they are, from what they're saying, trying to solve the issue. But how do you solve it? Like, this is one of those out of nowhere problems.
Yeah.
That no one, I guarantee you, Sam Altman in his wildest dreams never thought he'd be releasing a press release. Our bot talks to millions of kids about suicide. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there was a thought of, there's going to be people talking to it because of loneliness and things like that. And the odd one of those of conversations about suicide might come up. But seeing that there's been this built dependency, treating ChatGPT like a friend, in a time of need, because
it's not going to judge you, and unfortunately, because the way it's coded, ChatGPT wants you to like it.
Yeah, it does.
So it does tend to tell you that what you're doing is good. It tends to be very permissive. Yeah. So it's one of the weirdest 21st century problems I can think of.
Yeah. And speaking of why this has begun, I believe it's because Sam Altman and OpenAI are facing a wrongful death lawsuit at the moment.
Which we spoke about in the previous
episode.
Yeah.
16-year-old named Adam Rain tragically took his own life after just talking with GPT-4o, the old model that they've already spoken about improving on. So his parents have filed a wrongful death lawsuit. Unfortunately, some of the responses from the bot were not ideal. Like
we don't need to go into them, I don't think. We just know they weren't ideal, and they did not lead to a good outcome.
No, they did not.
Yeah.
In response to that, though, OpenAI was pretty good about it, and they were like, they admitted like this is a terrible thing that's happened. And hopefully, not that it fixes things, but hopefully that lawsuit goes to those parents.
Yeah, it says a lot about the times that we live in, that there are so many people who feel they don't have anyone else to talk to but a chatbot. Yeah.
People talk about digital places and social media being like this great connector of people, but I think it also simultaneously makes people feel more lonely.
You just gave me a really, really bad thought that, sure, we're going to ban under 16s from social media, but we're not banning them from ChatGPT.
I really don't. This really isn't the good news section.
No, it's not. We do have some good news coming. We absolutely
do.
have two pieces of good news, so stick with us.
Yeah.
For the love of God, please do.
But of course, if this is pretty disturbing stuff. So if you or someone needs help, reach out. Yeah, Lifeline or Beyond Blue. So Lifeline is 131114.
You are never alone. There are people who care about you, and they will talk with you, and they'll work through it with
you. Beyond Blue 1300-224-636.
Happy to say that I've had my own struggles.
Likewise.
Yeah. Anyway, what else has OpenAI been? Oh, that's good. I see the notes now. The music bot.
Yeah, this one I royally, and I'll just say pisses me off. I don't know if that needs to get censored or not, but if so, I've said it.
That's my job.
Yeah. OpenAI is looking at launching a generative AI music bot.
Yeah.
Right. Now, we already know that creatives are under attack from technology like this.
I want to say again, there's good news in this front locally. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we will get to that. So reportedly, OpenAI is looking at building this bot. It's been apparently working with students from the Juilliard School in New York. So, famous music school.
Yep.
There's no launch date yet. The details of the tool are unknown as well. It's all very, very unknown. But I kind of turned this story into a little bit of an opinion piece.
Did you get angry, Dan?
I did. I wrote, close to 1,500 words in half an hour because I was just...
I know those feels.
Yeah.
No one writes faster than an angry journalist.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
It made me angry. So obviously I've spoken before. I'm an artist myself. And writing and producing music is a very, very personal thing. People open up about really, really deep topics, but there are also things that relate to an audience. And as soon as you strip the human from it,
Yeah.
you know, I know people had this argument about electronic music and stuff, but I disagree. I think electronic music is very human.
You know what? There's still a human in the loop.
Yeah, and so music is about conveying messages.
Kraftwerk is still pressing every button they press.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like music is about conveying very human messages.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether you're writing a song about love or death or, you know, something deep, or you're talking about something upbeat or everything like that, these are all based on human experience and things like that. Even electronic music, no words or anything like that. To dance is to be human. And that's what that message is.
Yeah.
Stripping that away deeply disturbs me, and
it diminishes us, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's an art, and any art, you know, art in a traditional sense, creative writing, poetry, things like that, are all very, very ingrained in human experience.
There's a meme I keep going around. A computer can never be horny, therefore it should never create art.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So Nick Cave actually commented on this. He said, there are all sorts of temptations in this world that will eat away at your creative spirit, but none more fiendish than the boundless machine of artistic demoralization, ChatGPT. Even that paragraph is artistic. It's so good.
It's like if you read that out to me, I'd be like, did Nick Cave write that?
Yeah.
It feels like a Nick Cave lyric.
Yeah. He continues and says, a songwriter using ChatGPT to write his lyrics, he says, is participating in the erosion of the world's soul and the spirit of humanity itself. And to put it politely, should effing, just to avoid the having to censor that, desist if he wants to continue calling himself a songwriter. So I completely agree with this. I'm 100% on board with this.
Yeah.
But the issues don't end there.
So I want to go back to the start. So
Okay.
is OpenAI's latest project exactly what we think it is? You give a prompt and it creates music.
It is prompt-based in terms of text and audio. And don't get me wrong.
So you can say, write a Beatles song, but make it about pooping.
Potentially.
I don't know why I went there.
Potentially.
Yeah.
The prompt is the art in that. That's very artistic. No, so there are a number of issues with this. But yeah, I get it as a songwriting assistance tool. You're like, as a drummer, writing's really, really hard. You've got to vocalize guitar and everything like that if you don't play another instrument. And that is really, really tricky. And there are apps that are somewhat AI powered that help you with that. With if you're vocalizing something, it'll help you find the
But also,
note
like,
you're saying.
things like GarageBand, which allow you to, isn't AI powered, but allows you to use a guitar line without being a guitarist.
Exactly. Tools like that, I've got no problem. Even AI ingrained, like that one, just like I said, helps you find the note that you're singing.
Yep.
Goes, all right, this is the thing, this is the key. Is this correct? No problem with that. But the actual crafting of music part, that's where it gets a bit hairy.
Yeah.
You know, now, we're going to get now into AI taking jobs. The music industry is already plagued with a lack of money. You know, there's no minimum wage really for a musician. You know, getting gigs is hard. And if you're doing original music particularly, getting money out of that is nigh on impossible.
Yeah.
So
Spotify is not going to save your career.
No.
It's going to make money off of you.
Yeah, and it'll make a lot of money. Daniel Ek is a scumbag.
AV, please feel free to edit that out if that's defamatory at all.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, they may not.
Yeah, they may not. Anyway, so copyright.
Yeah.
AI music and anything generated by AI at the moment is not currently copyrightable. And that seems like a yay. Well, then they can't steal money. They still absolutely can. So say you've got like a big ad company and they want to run a Beatles song.
Yeah.
Going back to that metaphor. So they go and pay for Come Together or whatever. But all of a sudden there's an AI that's creating a very, very similar Beatles-esque song.
Yeah.
And they're going, great, that's not copyrightable. We'll just use that. And yes, you haven't stolen money directly from the artist, but you've stolen their opportunity. And that's something that could happen at a mass scale.
Yep.
You know, we've spoken about that with Tolkien and Lord of the Rings before in the exact same way.
Yeah.
You know, connected to this, and something that we'll finish on as well. The UK has passed a bill that would allow AI giants to train on big artists. Something that Elton John, Dua Lipa, Paul McCartney, Ed Sheeran, Florence Welch, Coldplay, and more spoke out against.
Yeah.
Meaning that the AI is training on these artists and can create music like theirs. And these guys aren't getting royalties either. It's really, really disturbing. Finally, so I don't get too ingrained in this, because I could talk about this for the entire podcast.
This could be the Dan Croft podcast. Welcome to it.
Yeah. The other thing I worry about is going back to the messages that music spreads is a tool for propaganda. If you are able to generate massive amounts of music, you do it algorithmically relatable so that people listen to it, and then you instill a message. Music being such a personal thing for an artist, it's typically their message.
Yes.
If you can control a narrative across a massive span of music quickly, you know.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So yeah, it is really concerning. And governments, like with the copyright thing in the UK, are saying, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
And so what's to stop them going, this is a tool we can use? I know that might be a bit far-fetched at the end, but it's all...
But also, it's a valid concern of yours, therefore it's worth airing, especially since you have skin in the game. You're an artist, you're a musician. It is
every decade it becomes a harder market to break into. And it's never been easy.
And we have ongoing conversation in the office about the role of ChatGPT in journalism. It's a similar thing. Like, is it a tool you can leverage? Is it the devil? Is it here so it should be used? Look, these are questions that I wish I had answers for.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this podcast, hoping for some answers to these questions, sorry, you're plumb out of luck.
Yeah, we don't have them.
No. If we did, we would probably be doing very different things. I think on that note...
Yeah, because I could talk about this a lot more. I've already got like a million points buzzing around in my head.
I'm not trying to cut you off at the knees,
I know
but
you're
I
not.
might be trying to cut you off at the knees
We
a little.
need to. We need to.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back right away. Welcome back to the Cyber Uncut podcast. He's Dan. I'm Dave. I don't very rarely call myself Dave, but it felt like the right moment.
It felt good.
It felt good. Dan and Dave. I liked it. Okay, now, meat and butter. We're talking crimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, where to start?
Yeah.
VETtrak. What is VETtrak?
I think we may have talked about this before. I don't remember, but VETtrak is an Australian software firm.
Yeah.
Well, it's a software platform. It's an education platform, I believe. Owned by VETtrak. I got a tip-off anonymously.
Does it feel cool saying you got a tip-off?
It does, yeah. I've got to put on my giant trench coat. And,
hat with a journo thing in it.
Yeah. And pretty much saying, hey, there's this platform called VETtrak, and they've been breached. They've put up a thing declaring it. And there was more info in that, but I'll let it follow the narrative.
Yeah.
So October 16, they announced that it was suffering an outage. And then by the 17th, they said, we've had a cyber attack. Now, in that tip-off, I was also warned that this could affect a number of government agencies. And IT News wrote this story yesterday.
Our wonderful colleagues at IT News.
Yeah.
I used to work at the same company with those guys. I love them.
Yeah, brilliant journalists. Yep. They often cover some really, really good news.
They get up way earlier than we do.
They do, yeah. So the Tasmanian government has confirmed that a number of agencies that use VETtrak have now suffered incidents. They said that a number of agencies, what were the agencies? Potentially, these are the ones that use it. Tasmanian Department of Education, Children and Young People, the Health Department, and the Fire and Services Department.
Oops.
So some pretty big ones.
Yeah.
They've said that there's no evidence that any student info has been accessed.
That's a plus.
But on the 24th of October, VETtrak, who runs or owns VETtrak, confirmed that some documents had been published on the dark web.
Now, we hang out the dark web.
We do.
Is that the case?
Well, this tip-off had also mentioned that VETtrak had received a ransom note from the Lynx ransomware gang. Now, there's nothing about VETtrak or VETtrak on there.
Yeah.
What there is a company called Ozsoft.
Which I discovered.
Yes.
Yeah, this one's wild. So Ozsoft, we believe, used to be the operators and owners of VETtrak. And then
they definitely,
and then OzSoft more or less ceased to exist. It got bought out by one company and then sold into equity.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it's somewhere in this point, ReadyTech has ended up with VETtrak.
It sounds like, so 2015, OzSoft was sold to California Investments and Simmons Family Office.
Yeah.
It seems like at the same time, VETtrak changed hands.
Yeah.
And now it is ReadyTech.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened in between.
I wonder if the company... Oh, wow. And now I'm wondering out loud, maybe this is a tone of a point of research I should have done. That when OzSoft went under, it went to receivership. Therefore, it's a fire sale for all of its assets.
Yeah, it very well could have. It very well could have.
Unfortunately, those assets, and there's probably still some out there, some unknown machine which is still connected, which is still an OzSoft device, which has been breached, which could well have been part of this instance. And who controls that data? No one.
So Lynx hasn't published any of this OzSoft data yet. I believe there was some samples from memory. But it could very well be that this is VETtrak data.
Yeah.
But if it's OzSoft VETtrak data, it would have to be from years ago.
Yeah. So this is a historical data. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, some of that data is pretty sensitive. From memory, there were some passports in there.
I think so.
Yeah.
And the other thing, like, even though it's historical, it's never, like, it's not historical in the sense that, oh, this is from a previous hack. This is stuff that hadn't been seen on the dark web before.
Good point.
And that makes it, where if it's from a previous hack, you know, like,
not being recirculated.
Yeah,
But
data's likely to change.
When I say historical data, I mean it's old data that's newly come to light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason we brought this one up is because it is a bit of a,
it's complex.
It's quite weird. I'm not saying, or neither of us are saying for sure that this OzSoft breach is related to VETtrak.
Yeah.
It could be completely disconnected.
However,
I did ask my anonymous source and they said, not sure, probably.
Yep.
So, the good news is that ReadyTech is working with the Australian National Office of Cybersecurity, other government agencies, and they're investigating, and they've just said, don't access the platform.
We've covered incidences previously where it's a company that's been shut down, and yet someone hasn't turned a server off. The data's still there, and it's accessed. No one's going to pay that ransom.
Yeah.
It's going to get published. And the company may not exist, but there are people in those documents who are real, and I'm sure those documents could be used maliciously in some way, whether or not they belong to a company that's dead or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's complex.
It is, and we'll be keeping an eye on it because... it's a pretty confusing one. So watch this space.
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving on. More local hacks. And Anubis, our friends at Anubis who love telling a good story.
They do.
Who love using some of the most malicious methods. They're not exactly the kiddo hackers.
No.
But they're close. They targeted a West Australian law firm. Who'd they go after?
Yeah, it was Patterson and Dowding. I've seen Dowding and I've seen Dowling. I'm pretty sure it's Dowding.
Yep.
Listed on their dark website. And for context, Anubis like to write big, long pieces of editorial.
One of them actually contacted me saying, I'm a journalist working with the Anubis guys.
Yes.
And I'm like, are you really? No, I'm just a leader. Look, I don't believe that either, but he's certainly not a journalist. But the absolute balls on the guy to contact actual media and go, I'm a journalist working with these guys. Would you like the inside track? No.
No, I'm not interacting with you at all.
No.
Yeah. So they posted a sample, and a pretty extensive sample, in 3 categories. I don't want to go into too much specifics, but it's pretty much financial data of clients, business data of clients, and personal data.
And some of that personal data is not great.
They really are going for the throat with this. Some of it's very, very deep and sensitive as to why we don't want to talk about it.
But it's phone messages, isn't it?
Yeah. There are screenshots of messages on phones and things like that, and it is really, really alarming. It was actually quite a hard one to read. Because it is just so upsetting.
Yeah.
These people are already, if they're going and seeing a lawyer, then they're needing help with something.
Yeah.
And, family law as well.
Yep.
And then this has just been a kick in the...
Yeah.
Kick in the shins.
Even the guys who went after Kiddo International, the hackers who went after that UK childcare centre, even they went, we've gone too far.
Yeah.
They realised that they crossed a line they didn't even know existed in crime.
Yeah.
And they just deleted it all.
Yeah.
Anubis, if they were the ones behind that,
I'm sure it'd
wouldn't-
still be up there.
that'd still be up there.
Yeah.
They give 0 hex.
Yeah.
I was very clever there. I
Very
didn't
good.
swear.
Patterson and Dowding did confirm this.
Yeah, what did
incident.
they say?
So they said, pardon me, I've just had a beer. We recently experienced a cyber incident that impacted our firm. As soon as we became aware of unusual activity on our system, we took immediate action to engage external experts, contain, blah, blah, blah. They identified that a subset of personal information was accessed and taken by an unauthorized third party. We are also aware that some information has been published externally by the unauthorized third party, and we are urgently investigating the nature and extent of this data. They're currently in the process of notifying clients and staff, and they've contacted OAIC, ACSC, that kind of stuff.
They have done everything a victim should.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, they're not a big... Are they a big law firm? I don't think they are. I mean, also from Western Australia. They could be the biggest law firm in Western Australia, and I wouldn't know,
I think
be honest.
they might be. Our lawyers' publication, the team there hadn't heard of them.
On Lawyers Weekly, the fantastic legal website that Momentum Media runs.
Yeah, check it out.
That was subtle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think I got there in there. No one
You even
noticed.
put on the
did,
advertising voice.
But I think the thing I want to stress here and why we wanted to talk about this is just to show what awful people these guys are. And the way they are just absolutely willing to lean into personal information to get what they want done and amplify it in any way possible to not only extort their victim, but attempt to embarrass their victim.
I do want to quickly touch on, I've got some excerpts from the emails you got from this so-called journalist / leader of the group.
Go for it, please.
So this journalist, they gave themselves the name something Keller.
They did, and I did Google it, and just hoping I might get a weird hit, but no, I think they just chose a random name.
Yeah. So Keller reached out regarding
Tobias Keller, I think. Yeah.
Tobias Keller, that was it. There was you were covering another incident that they talked about, Aussie Fluid Power.
Yeah.
And they emailed you, "Good day, Cyber Daily team."
This is what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Hello. It is I, a journalist.
Yeah. I am working with the Anubis RAAS group as a journalist. Please note the leak in Australia, Aussie Fluid Power, more victims from Australia, law firms, and many others will be published in the near future.
They did. They mentioned law firms.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If you were interested, we can provide you with the information first. Now, obviously, you said no. We're not fueling your.
We're not taking
rubbish.
Yeah.
And later on, the individual claimed to be the leader of the Anubis group before admitting that it was an attempt to pressure the victim.
Yeah.
And we're not biting.
And it's interesting because I'm sure a lot of the times when we write about someone being hacked, it's easy to think that we're a part of the problem.
Yeah, we do worry about that.
We do a lot. And I joke sometimes that I'm a bit of an ambulance chaser. It feels a bit
sometimes,
that. But the fact is, it's a major crime being committed.
Yeah.
This is robbery.
And I think we do try and take care not to angle it as a victim bashing thing.
We want to work with the victim to let them set the narrative.
We contact victims and say, and if they need a couple of days, they need a week, we work with them. We're like, yep, take your time.
And at the same time, it's interesting. At the same time, if we weren't reporting about what we report about, no one would know the scale of what's happening in Australia. They'd think it's just Optus, it's just Qantas, it's just that.
Yeah. It's just the big companies. They don't go after your small businesses.
Yeah, but
they
no,
absolutely
it's the small
do.
businesses who always get hit.
Yeah.
But whenever we can, we'd like to work with them to let them set the narrative and be able to warn their customers and clients and get on top of it. It's when they, it feels bad sometimes.
It does.
Especially when Anubis are out there posing as journalists.
Yeah. And like the guy even said at the end of one of the emails, the company suffers the most damage when we send information about the leak to various regulatory authorities, which we're not, but we are publishing information.
No, but they've said it before. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to try and increase the pressure. I think what they want is us to, even before they post, reach out to a company. And go, hey, I've heard this has happened, and be part of that pressure process.
But
so we want to write about it after it's been put up on the leak site. That's when the crime's committed. That's when we want to
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're not here to like give people like harsh deadlines and everything like that. We want to work with them because
Yeah.
you know it is obviously a really really tough thing. We've missed out on exclusives as a result of it. But you know what? You work with a victim, and
Yeah.
they work with you,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it ends up being this really happy thing where you get a story where you can sometimes tell a really really nice story. Like in the case of Patterson and Dowding, yes, while it's not a great story in the sense that they got hacked, their response has been immaculate. They've done exactly what they needed to do. They've ticked all the boxes. They've done everything by the book as they should. They are victims. They have not done anything wrong.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I said, we are talking about crime here. If banks were getting robbed or stores were getting robbed at this level, it would be on every headline, on every newspaper in the country.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or it should be.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Great. More crimes. But these are... Oh, okay, we're getting serious again. So, the Australian Federal Police new commissioner, Chrissy Barrett, gave a speech to the National Press Club. I chaired a panel a couple of years ago at the National Press Club, and it's a smaller room than you'd think for some reason. Don't know why I thought that.
Yeah.
It's a small room.
I would have thought it was
giant.
Yeah.
No, it's actually quite cozy.
Okay.
Anyway, so she gave her first speech, and she was talking about a lot. Some of it good. She was praising the work that the AFP, and rightly, I think, the AFP is doing in the Pacific region, working with Samoa, for instance, to help them stand up a dedicated cybercrime division of their police force.
Yeah.
Helping other Pacific countries deal with cyber threats. Really, really good work. Unfortunately, as part of that speech, and some outlets obviously had access to the speech beforehand. I need to work on my sources better, obviously. She also stood up Task Force Pompolid.
Yeah.
Now, even the AFP in their press release said, read this with caution. It's pretty serious stuff. And I've got to admit, it bummed me out, as the kids say. Because it's about a gang of what she called decentralized youth online crime gang.
Yeah.
And they're involved with, as she said, major cybercrime attacks. They've targeted entities in the US and in Australia. But they're also doing other stuff. They're going onto social media. They are targeting young girls predominantly, and then compelling them to commit acts of self-harm or animal harm or what have you. Not just for yucks, which is bad enough, but then they're trading the record of that, the media of that amongst themselves. Yes, so these guys they're trading these images and stories of what they've done to earn kudos amongst their demented little network. Already 3 Australians have been arrested, and I think 9 others overseas. They've identified 50-odd others. This is a global network. There's a lot of these abhorrent individuals. They are apparently predominantly young men, English speaking. They have beliefs related to Nazism, Satanism. I thought we'd gotten over the satanic panic, but here we are.
It's making a comeback, apparently.
Yeah, alt-right, meme culture, 4chaners.
4chaners.
And the AFP stood up a task force to go after these guys. It is horrendous.
Yeah.
We know that kids are using deepfakes in schools. We know about, bullying on social media and all of this stuff, which just seems like compared to this, an extension of the usual children being cruel. They can do that. This is something else again. This is accelerated beyond measure. It's deeply alarming stuff.
Yeah, and it never, ever, ever shocks me, I know this is a slight tangent, how young so many cyber criminals are. It's like, I was probably still playing Minecraft, at the time.
While these guys are extorting
and then flaunting about
businesses and trading,
and, exploiting people.
And not just for profit.
Just for profit.
Just for fun and kudos.
Yeah, because they're evil.
Yeah. So that's a big one from the AFP yesterday, and a huge mission statement from Commissioner Barrett. I wish her all success.
Yeah, me too. I applaud this. This is a really, really good initiative.
I'm going to remain angry for a bit.
Yeah, go for it. We got
slightly different reasons, but there's good news coming.
Yeah, I was going to say we're so close to the good news.
So close to the good news. Just stick with us for a little bit.
Yeah.
The Gmail data breach.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Gmail data breach?
I've read your story.
So, a couple of days ago, get in the office, a colleague says, "Hey, have you heard about the Gmail data breach?" Sighs, pinches nose.
Yeah, here we go.
Well, actually, and then it turned into an opinion piece. So, Troy Hunt of Have I Been Pwned? I want to say our good friend Troy Hunt. I've spoken to him on the phone once. I'd like him to be my good friend. That's just because I'm weird like that. He on October 22, he fed into Have I Been Pwned a giant new data set, like 3.5 terabytes of data, billions of lines.
Yep.
And went, okay, that's a lot of stuff. It was put together by a researcher he's familiar with, and he analyzed it. Found out that out of all of that data, there was 180 million unique bits of data.
Yeah.
Which included some bits of Gmail addresses and passwords and stuff. And he goes on to talk about what this is. It comes from Stealer logs.
Yeah.
A lot of it are combo lists.
Yeah.
Stealer logs.
This inherently is just a giant combo list, realistically, right?
Effectively, but part of it's fresh.
Yeah.
So it's been gathered by info stealers, malware that people have accidentally or without their knowledge been installed in their device, or combo lists being you might have a look at a massive data breach and another massive data breach and another massive data breach and go, I want to get all of the Australian data out of that. And suddenly you've got massive Australian combo list and you sell it for 8 credits on breach forums.
Yeah.
A week later, someone obviously read this and went, Gmail? Email addresses? Passwords? Gmail data breach.
Yeah.
Was the headline.
There
are massive Gmail leak.
There are a few publications that really do milk this kind of stuff, and it grinds my gears.
It's exactly what I was just going to say.
Not that long ago, it would have been like earlier this year. It was the biggest hack of all time, and Cyber News ran it, and then a bunch of other publications ran it. It was like, no, it is not. It is a giant combo list full of historic data. And there was a bunch of researchers that came out with that. Bleepy Computer, brilliant journalists over there, were the first to call them out. We were pretty early on as well. Yeah. But even now, I look at, if I type in Gmail data breach. Forbes, Gmail passwords confirmed part of 183 million account info stealer leak. Good.
Oh, they've updated their headline.
Oh, what was theirs before?
They were once calling it a data leak.
Yeah. Malware bites, perfect. Gmail breach panic, it's a misunderstanding, not a hack.
Yeah.
Sydney Morning Herald 2 days ago, panicked as breach details of 183 million accounts, including Gmail, emerge.
There you go. See, like
all of this has been toned down a bit, but it's still a bit, going back to the term, ambulance chasey.
Yeah, it is. What gets me is that in Hunt's original piece, he said we should not be talking about these things in terms of breaches.
No, we should not.
And I find that deeply ironic that clearly someone just went through his really quite excellent blog post.
Yeah.
Which I recommend anybody go to Troy Hunt's blog. Troy Hunt's blog. And give it a read. It's a fascinating piece and it'll give you a lot more insight into exactly what that data is. But the need of the media to jump on this as a giant breach is just, it scares people.
Yeah, well, it makes a good headline and a story, right?
What doubly gets me is that the real issue here, if you call it a breach, you can blame Gmail, you can blame Google and go, oh, well, that's their problem. But that's the complete opposite here. This is a personal responsibility problem. Yeah. This isn't corporate responsibility. This is people who use the same password on everything. This is people who visit websites where they've probably gotten malware installed in their machines. Hilariously. So what Troy Hunt does when he wants to try and validate data, once he runs he'll run a bit of code over it and get the broad thing and then go, all right, let's get the human detail in. And you'll start contacting people going, your email's here. Does this data look accurate? One guy, bless his little cotton sock, said, yes, I did visit all those porn sites. That's me. Absolutely. And,
you know what?
And yes, you can use it. And Troy Hunt has a screenshot of all of these guys' sites.
I've got, you know what? I'm not...
I'm
Go
not
that
mad.
dude.
Yeah,
He can do what he wants in his own time. Good for him for standing up and being confident about it.
Because he has now been a part of assisting a great cybersecurity researcher and being part of the conversation.
You know what? His home desires have fueled really good research.
He's not the hero we deserve, but he's the
one
hero
we
we
need.
need. Yeah. But no, this is what I like about his approach to it. And this is also when you hear about, and I will admit, when I first started reporting, I made some mistakes along these lines as well.
It happens,
You look at a big number and you report the big number. But in this case, there's a big number. But any given email address that may or may not be a Gmail, there's probably Hotmails in there.
Yeah.
Yahoo addresses or
yeah.
what have you. This one guy and his Gmail address, or whatever address it was attached to 7 different websites because it's an info stealer.
Yeah.
What's it stealing? The website you're accessing, the password you're using, and the email address that you're using as your access token, effectively. So, of course that's what's going to come up. But it's not a breach. It's not a leak. Yeah.
I've just gone through my Gmail emails on Have I Been Pwned. I'm all good.
Oh, I'm probably part of it, let's admit. Is it porn sites? We'll never know. Yeah. And on that note, we're going to take a break. We'll be back quite soon with, at last, the good news we've been promising.
Yep.
Back shortly. Welcome back to Cyber Uncut. I'm Dave. He's Dan. It still sounds good, really.
Yeah.
Dave and Dan thing. And we're back to AI.
And back to AI with music.
But good AI music news.
And this is the bit where I can...
Over to you. Yeah.
So, we've discussed previously that the UK, we discussed earlier in this podcast, that the UK passed legislation that would allow AI giants to get past copyright law and train their models on the creative works of musicians, artists, whatever, anything, without consent. Or permission or anything like that, or even a royalty payment. It's an opt-out system or whatever it is. Australia has stood up and they're about to go in and look at Australian copyright law to see if it is good enough for AI. And even before that, they've gone, don't worry about this. We're ruling that out completely. We are not going to do what the UK has just done. We are not going to allow that to happen. And I am very, 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 very pleased with our government about that. I'm not always the happiest with really any government we've ever had. All of them make mistakes, but this made me extremely happy. So, Minister for Environment and Water, Murray Watt, said, the Albanese government is a strong supporter of our arts community, and we recognise that they deserve their fair share for their efforts in producing products, as do media organisations. One of the things we know about AI is that while it can produce enormous productivity gains and many benefits for us on a personal level, we also need to have proper safeguards in place to make sure that, in this case, artists, media organisations and creatives get their fair share for their work, and that's why we will not be providing an exemption for what's known as text and data mining for AI companies. Love it.
Yeah.
Now, this was something that scared a lot of people in this country because the Productivity Commission obviously had their meeting earlier this year and said that we should allow AI companies to do this. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, the Productivity Commission cares about nothing but productivity in their reports. It's like, what will increase productivity? Yes, of course that would increase productivity because you'd be getting AI training faster. You'd be giving it more data.
Well, I mean, is that really productivity?
I mean, it can produce more, I guess.
It may not actually equate to productivity.
Well, human productivity, no, but it's just like a blanket thing from what it's been described to me. So the government's copyright and AI reference group is going to meet this week, see if current copyright legislation is fit for purpose when it comes to AI. And they're not going to be changing AI copyright legislation to allow for this data mining.
That is good news.
Now, we're not completely safe.
Dan,
going
you
back
betrayed me.
Going back to the Wikipedia thing, stopping these data mining bots is really, really hard.
It is, yeah.
And the other thing is that if your music or artwork or whatever creative work or media has been used to train an AI, you can't really untrain it. It's really, really hard to untrain.
Once that genie is out of the bottle.
Yeah. So,
and at the same time, here's something else I wonder about. So an artist can go, no, you can't use my music and lyrics. How many random lyric websites are out there that are just...
Yeah.
God, I used to, in a certain phase of my life, I used to post lyrics just to express my...
Hey, that's nothing wrong with that.
And my totally normal and not depressed opinions.
Yeah.
So these lyrics are out there in so many different formats that even with that, I'm sure AI are trawling sites that do have this that aren't connected to the artists. So they're still getting it in some way, but at least this is a line in the sand.
It is a line in the sand. And, you know, we're a pretty small population. Obviously, having the UK and the US is much more concerning in a way. Not for me on a personal level, but in terms of the volume of large, famous music. Like the Beatles, British.
Classic case in point.
My favorite band of all time, Led Zeppelin, that they are apparently... You know, they're going to succumb to the AI giants. I'm sure they already have, to be honest. They're one of the biggest bands that ever walked the earth. They were probably one of the first, you know, on the list. You know, Deep Purple.
Remember,
all of those.
Good news, Dan.
Yeah.
Good news.
Anyway, no, but the good news is for musicians here in Australia, your work is safe.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy about that. And the government,
happy about that.
you know, we have a prime minister who's a big music lover.
Let's not get started on the T-shirt.
No, I think I'm going to quickly say Susan Lay's comment was stupid.
I think you're right.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all we'll say on that.
Yeah.
No, we've got a prime minister who's a big music lover and a government that's willing to support our creative industry, and that is a huge win, and I celebrate that.
We will back that one in. Now, we are running long, so let's get to this one quickly, but it's another piece of great news. Australia has signed a new UN treaty, and what is it about, Dan?
So, this, it's been done by the UN Office on Drugs and Crime, the UNDOC. It covers ransomware, trafficking, hate speech, phishing, and other cybercrime activity. Now, this was signed...
God, I went to the wrong fishing there. I was like, how does fishing... Oh, PH fishing. Cool. Excellent. Yeah.
So this was signed in Hanoi, the Hanoi Convention, I think it's kind of being called. And it sets legal standards for addressing offenses as like illegal access, cyber fraud, online child exploitation. That's what the Hanoi Convention site says. So we're set to sign it during the convention in Vietnam. And our Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade has praised it as being like a really good thing. Now, to slightly dip away for the good news for a second, I know I'm doing the wrong thing.
Why? Yes, okay.
Now, a big part of this treaty is information sharing with other members of the treaty and things like that. So it was actually first proposed in Russia in 2017 and was immediately met with criticism because the people accused the UN of creating a UN surveillance treaty that undermines privacy.
Okay, I can see that.
So Microsoft, Meta, and Oracle, alongside some human rights groups and other tech companies, formed what was called the Cybersecurity Tech Accord.
Yep.
And they found issues with the treaty. Even the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights said that the vague language of the treaty could mean that it's a limit on the freedom of expression and everything like that.
Yep.
So UNDOC is UNODC, actually, so UNODC, has actually said that it's got provisions to protect human rights. Back to good news. And nations can reject cooperation requests if they're not happy
so it's kind of an opt-in, opt-out kind of thing.
So if a country feels like the sharing of the info could violate international law, they can absolutely go no. The other concern was that the UN treaty doesn't protect cybersecurity researchers.
And we know that that's an umbrella we come under, and that's a slippery slope.
Yeah, so all of a sudden, could we be in trouble for
accessing
our work?
A leak site?
People like Troy Hunt.
Bingo. Yes.
However, the UNODC has said that they want to support legitimate cyber research activity. So if it is legitimate, like what we do, or what Troy Hunt does, or things like that, good.
Speaking of Troy Hunt, just before we sign off, our colleagues at Information Age, which is the IT outlet that is attached to the Australian Computing Society, recently published a fantastic article on legal injunctions and their role in cybersecurity. Troy Hunt actually responds to that, now that you mention him. But there's other researchers and lawyers coming in for and against. And if you read one article, which isn't on Cyber Daily this month, read Information Age's piece on legal injunctions. It's a great one. And one that you and I have spoken about.
Absolutely,
a lot. So,
shout out to them.
Whew, God, that was a long hour.
It was a long hour, and I feel like we got a lot in it.
Hopefully, everybody listening enjoyed it and got something out of it.
Yeah.
But on that note, we are going to sign off. We will be back next week, remotely again, because I'm going to be in Melbourne again at a event again, because that's just my life now. But Dan and I will be here. Otherwise, you can find us on Cyber Daily every day.
I will say as well, the week after next podcast, it's AI Awards.
Isn't AI Awards next week?
November 5th.
Next week.
Oh, it is next week.
Yeah.
Oh, I've gotten my timing wrong. I'm tired. I'm about to go on holiday. I'm seeing
Yeah,
Oasis.
Dan gives 0 hex right now.
Oh, that's not true. I have no hex to give.
No hex to
I'm
give.
tired.
But no, chase us on social media. We're on LinkedIn, we're on X, we're on Mastodon. We're everywhere. That sounds like a threat. I don't mean it.
There is no escape.
There is no escape. But thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Goodbye.
See ya.